Okay, today I'm Jerry Goodwin from the BMG Cycles Plus, and they usually call me the Bicycle Nut. I have a website and a blog by that description, THE, and then Bicycle Nut, NUT. You should be able to spell that, that's .com. Anyway, today we're going to talk about doing a bicycle safety check. Now, there's lots of different ways of doing a safety check, and some of them, like in bike rodeos and stuff, you would do them in about 5 minutes, and there would be just real simple ones. This is going to be a little more detailed than that, but not, not going all the way to a tune-up or something like that. This is just more like a check to make sure that the bicycle is safe to operate. Especially for young children, you don't want them to get out there and have them wreck their bike because something was loose or something was not right, or have them have a problem. So, and it goes for anybody, but especially the little ones. But this is, we do a free safety check at our shop. Anybody can come in and get it anytime they want. Just bring your bike in. If someone has time, we'll do the safety check right then. If not, you can leave the bike. We'll do the safety check, give you a report on it, and give it back to you. There's several things we can do. While we're doing the safety check, I'll show you the different things that we would check, and then how to fix those if they can be fixed easily, or what part you would need to fix them if they need a part or something like that. Okay, this is a bicycle that's came in for a safety check. It's a 1997 Schwinn Moab. It's a mountain bike, but the person has changed the tires on it to make it ride on the road better, and does use it more for road riding than for mountain biking, according to him. Now, the first thing I would do if the customer was with me is we would check it for what's called a fit, a bike fit. You want to make sure the bike fits you. And what we would do is have the customer get on the bike, have the person that's going to ride it get on the bike, and then just lift the bike up and make sure that there's about 1 to 2 inches between the person and the bike, so that if you're getting on this bike, you would want about 1 to 2 inches. You'd want to have about 1 to 2 inches of play right there. So, and that's pretty much all we would do with a fit, because if you needed to have a professional bike fitting, there's a lot more to it than that. But that just is to kind of get a gross idea of the fit of the bike. If you have a trainer or something and the person's with you, you could also have them sit on the bike and pedal the bike a little bit and see if their legs straighten out completely, or if they have a small bend in their knee when their pedal's at the bottom of the stroke. And that just helps more comfort and gives you more efficiency on your bicycle. Okay? Now, that's just the first thing. That usually takes about a minute or two, not even that long usually. And then we're going to check the frame. We're going to check the frame. We're going to look at the frame and make sure that everything is in line, that everything is straight, that the bike has no big holes or dents in the frame, and really the frame, anywhere in the frame. This one actually looks pretty good for a 15-year-old bike, so that's actually pretty good. And then we're going to check the front fork. On the front fork on this particular bike, it doesn't have, well, it does have a little bit of adjustment. Yeah, it does adjust. Okay, I didn't think it did, but it does adjust. This is an old Judy fork, a Thompson fork, the Judy, and you can check it here and make sure that it works, and it gives you less play as you tighten it up, which is good. So the fork appears to be in good shape, and of course make sure that there's no dents and scratches and stuff on it. If there's any really, if it's twisted or anything, you want to make sure it's straight. We're going to do the front wheel. Look at the front wheel. We're going to look at it, just look down on it and make sure that it looks straight, that everything looks straight. We can take it and turn it and spin it. We could actually set it on a truing stand if we wanted to, but that's usually not that much for a safety check. If you take the bike and pick it up, spin the tire, and see that it's fairly straight. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as it's relatively straight. You do the same thing here with the rear wheel. I've got this one on a stand, so we can just turn the wheel here and look at it and see that it's also doing pretty well. Okay. Then I'm going to check the brakes. The rear brakes. Okay. Well, wrong side of the bike for the rear brakes here. Seems to stop pretty well. You want to make sure they stop. You can look here for wear on the brake pads, that type of stuff. And we can also do the front brakes. What we do with the front brakes is pick it up, flip it, make sure it stops. Now on this particular bike, you can see that the front brake goes back in too far. You should have enough room here so that when you pull that front brake back, it should not touch your hand. If you put your fingers here or your thumb right there, that brake pad, that brake handle should not touch your thumb when it connects there. So this brake would have to be adjusted. And from the looks of the adjustment, it's already been adjusted all the way out. So that means that you're going to have to adjust it down here with the cable right here. So we would check on that one. We would let the customer know that the brake needs adjusted, and in this particular case, probably something that simple, we just go ahead and adjust it for them and make sure that it was proper, and still not charge anything for it. Coaster brakes, you want to do the same basic thing, but you want to make sure that when you spin the wheel, but when you turn it back to about 20 degrees, that the brake stops. The wheel. This doesn't have coaster brakes, so I can't really show you on that bike, but it's fairly simple to tell. Calibrates, you want to make sure they're centered. You want to make sure that the one brake is not a lot closer to the wheel than the other. That kind of stuff. But that's just for just to make sure that it's right. And you want to make sure that the brake shoes sit on the rim square, nice and flat, and sit there squarely. Then we take the chain, and we'll actually measure the chain and see if it's had any wear. A chain is measured from one link to another, and you can actually measure it with a ruler. You can take a 1 foot ruler and measure 1 foot of chain from, say, like one to the next to a foot length, and if it's off to more than just a little bit, I think it's more than a 1/16 of an inch, then your chain has what's called stretching. A chain technically never stretches, but what happens is the little pins inside wear down and allow the chain to technically get longer, though it's really not a longer chain. It just that it has more slop in it, and then the chain doesn't work as well, and it can actually wear out the rest of your drivetrain, like your cassette and your sprocket. So you can wear out those both. We'll also check the derailleur. Things like just check and run it and make sure it goes through all the gears. As you can see, the chain's moving as I flip each one and flip them back, and it goes back. So we would check that and make sure that that's working properly. Along with that, we would check for reflectors. Should have one on the front, one on the back, and one on the front. One on the front should be a white one, the one on the back should be a red one. There is no white reflector on this. Probably before you put the road bike tires on it, or more roady type tires on it, he probably busted that and while he was doing mountain biking. So we probably, if we had one laying around the shop, we'd just stick one on there for him. There's a reflector on the back. There's also supposed to be 2 reflectors, one on each wheel. And you can see they're on the rear, not on the front. So we would have to we'd have to actually probably, if it had, 3 or 4 things missing, and we'd probably ask them if they wanted to buy a safety kit, which includes all of the reflectors. They'd buy a safety kit, we would install the ones that they need, and they'd have extras of the ones that they don't. Also, in most states, pedals have to have reflectors also. And I see the pedals on this bike do not have reflectors. So we're going to have to let them know about that too. And in that safety kit comes reflectors for the pedals also. It'll come with, I believe, 4 kit. The safety kit's like $10, and it comes with reflectors in both pedals also. Now, I'll go through the reflectors. Then we would also check if the bike had horns or lights or anything like that. We check to make sure the lights work. We check to make sure the horn works, that type of thing. If it had fenders, racks, anything like that, which this one doesn't, but if it had any of that stuff, we'd make sure that was tight, not loose, so it could fall off. Make sure like if there was no missing bolts or anything like that. And if any accessory was put on wrong or illegal, I guess you'd call it, and I can't think of any standard accessory that would be illegal, though sometimes, no, I can't really think. Some people put some strange things on their bikes, but pretty much I don't know of anything offhand that would be illegal other than, something that would be illegal even off the bike. Or if there's any unsafe modifications, if somebody has, I had one not too long ago that came in, and instead of having a pedal on it, the person had taken a bolt and ran through the pedal hole, right here, and actually bolted a peg onto it because the pedal had worn out. And he had, what happened is, he said when his pedal broke, the threads were stripped inside of the crank arm. So rather than bring it to a shop and have them re-thread it or run a thread chaser through it, he just manufactured a pedal out of an old just out of a nut and a bolt and it could have been any old thing, but he happened to use a peg from a 20-inch bike, and this was a 26-inch mountain bike actually was that had that done, and that for a couple of reasons that's not really safe. One, it's there's no grip. It's on the pedal, but he was riding around that way, so I guess he managed, but I don't think that was really quite a legal accessory or a legal modification. So anyway, but that pretty much takes care of the safety check. If you liked the video and you enjoyed it, just give us a shout, click like, and have a great day.